Welcome, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel here with my partner, Clark Kellogg. Just ahead on College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. We'll unveil the newest NCAA Top 25 poll, as well as show you the best action from around the nation. But we begin with a special player who was an easy choice as our Player of the Week in college basketball.
Johnson is a favorite to win this award every week, Greg, and he gets it this week. If there is anyone who doesn't consider him one of the best players in the country, just take a look at his last few performances.
It was a magical week for him, Clark, no doubt about it. The fans really got behind him as the points kept piling up, and you could see him feed off their energy. He's a cult hero to those people now, and if he has a few more weeks like this one, he'll be one of the all-time legends at that university. Now, time to unveil this week's brand new Top 25 poll. It won't take long to figure out what the big news in the poll is this week. The Duke Blue Devils are no longer the top dog after spending 6 weeks at the top.
You have to be almost perfect to hang on to a place at the top of the poll, and they were not perfect this week. They only had one loss, but one is enough if you're vying for the top spot in the poll.
The Oklahoma State Cowboys will be trying to avoid the same pitfall as they take over the top spot. I'm guessing they'll be okay. Now, let's turn our attention to some of the action of the past week in the NCAA with our Games of the Week. We had the kind of upset this week that makes college hoops so unpredictable and so exciting. Brigham Young. Hi, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel, joined at the anchor desk by my partner, Clark Kellogg. Next up on College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. We'll preview some of the biggest games coming up this week in the NCAA, as well as show you the best action from around the nation. But we begin with a special player who was an easy choice as our player of the week in college basketball.
Kavaliauskas is our choice this week, and he might be winning an even bigger award at the end of the year. There's a lot of talk about him as a player of the year candidate.
To say he was lights out would be an understatement. He had an unbelievable week shooting the ball. He put on an exhibition to the point that his teammates didn't even go to the hoop for a rebound when he put up the shot. They knew it was going in. As you can see, he got the hot hand and never cooled down. Now let's take a look ahead to the games that get top billing on the schedule in the days to come. I'm looking forward to this game just like everybody else. This matchup has the possibility of becoming quite a little rivalry because these teams match up so well against each other, and it's always a heated atmosphere when they're on the court together.
Marquette should come out on top if I had to make a prediction. Their backcourt is so solid this year, and their guards love to get out and run. That gives them a huge advantage in a game that should be as fast-paced as this one will be.
And we have another upcoming contest that promises to be a classic. This will be a fantastic battle. This is shaping up to be a prototypical style versus style matchup. Great scorers on one side of the court, great defenders on the other. This is going to be a real showdown.
Ohio State plays a brand of defense that should make the difference in this game. They are a tough team to score against. And if you don't squeeze the orange, they'll take it. I think they'll be in top form for this contest.
There was no shortage of excitement on the court in the past few days, so let's take a look at our games of the week. We had a pair of top 10 teams duking it out, Clark, in our first featured game. Mississippi State knocked off Ole Miss.
The Mississippi Rebels let the game get away from them, and it didn't turn out to be as much of a contest as we had hoped. It began as a battle between top 10 teams, but it became pretty one-sided. Mississippi State did a tremendous job in the rebounding department. It was truly a dominant performance on the glass. They showed great hustle and determination every time a shot went up on either end. That's always an area that can really be an indicator of a team's performance, and the rebounding numbers told the tale in this one.
Also on our list of games of the week is a conference face-off in the Big Ten. Ohio State got the better of Michigan.
Both of these teams are jostling for position at this point in the season. We're in that critical part of the year when everybody's trying to get hot before the postseason. Momentum is everything right now. Bradford had the hot hand on the winning side. His 12 points led the team. And in addition to his scoring, he is a tenacious defender. He makes everyone around him a better defender. With this combination of offense and defense, it's easy to see why they won this game.
That's our show, everyone. For all of us here at the 2K Sports Studios, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Hi, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel, joined at the anchor desk by my partner, Clark Kellogg. Next up on College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. We'll preview some of the biggest games coming up this week in the NCAA, as well as show you the best action from around the nation. But we begin with a special player who was an easy choice as our Player of the Week in college basketball.
Wentz is a favorite to win this award every week, Greg, and he gets it this week. If there's anyone who doesn't consider him one of the best players in the country, just take a look at his last few performances.
It was a magical week for him, Clark, no doubt about it. The fans really got behind him. The points kept piling up, and you could see him feed off their energy. He's a cult hero to those people now, and if he has a few more weeks like this one, he'll be one of the all-time legends at that university. Now let's take a look ahead to the games that get top billing on the schedule in the days to come. The conference tournaments are upon us, and no matchup looms larger. This game is a crucial grudge match between a pair of the best teams in the Big East.
South Florida would be my pick here. They're so strong on the inside that I believe they'll be just too tough to match up with. It would really surprise me if that talent discrepancy on the inside doesn't tell the tale of this game.
But that's not the only item on the schedule that has NCAA fans buzzing. This conference tournament showdown should have more action than a typical game between these teams in the Big Ten.
Michigan should come out on top if I had to make a prediction. Their backcourt is so solid this year, and their guards love to get out and run. That gives them a huge advantage in a game that should be as fast-paced as this one will be.
There was no shortage of excitement on the court in the past few days, so let's take a look at our games of the week. We had the kind of upset this week that makes college hoops so unpredictable and so exciting. Purdue got by Ohio State.
No one could have predicted this outcome, Greg. Ohio State is going to lose their spot at the top of the poll for sure after this loss. Purdue was going into this game looking to build some momentum, and I think they did it, Greg. This win really impressed me just in the way the players carried themselves. They looked to me like a team that could really get into a groove and start doing some serious damage to their opponents.
And two teams, each enjoying a spot in the top 25, got together. Rhode Island did away with Dayton.
It was a real treat to see these teams both come to play in what turned out to be a fantastic game. They showed us why they deserved their spots in the top 25. This was an entertaining and fun game to watch. Larmon took care of business in this one. His 15 points led the team. Watching him basically put his teammates on his back and single-handedly carry them to the victory in a big game situation like this was stupendous.
That'll do it for us here in the studio. For my partner, Clark Kellogg, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thanks for watching College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Enjoy the exciting week of college hoops action to come. It is an annual rite of spring, bringing with it excitement and emotion that can be found in no other sporting event. The NCAA Tournament. Your wait is finally over, the brackets are ready, and the drama of March Madness is about to begin. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel, and this is the NCAA Championship Basketball Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Joining me at the anchor desk, as always, my partner, Clark Kellogg. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. But before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. The rankings look a little different than they did last week. The San Diego State Aztecs jumped all the way from the number 24 spot to number 17.
They're peaking at just the right time, Greg. This is exactly the way you want to be playing going into the tournament.
Also, a new team has fought its way into the top 25. The Northwestern Wildcats are back in the poll as the number 25 team. It's time to talk about the topic that has a lot of players and coaches holding their breath right now, the NCAA tournament bubble. These are the 10 teams that aren't worried as much about where they'll be playing as if they'll be playing. Clark, who jumps out at you there?
Tennessee could have sealed their invitation with a better regular season finish, but the fact is they play in a very tough conference, and that does weigh heavily in their favor.
You got that right, and who else might be in the same position?
Wisconsin, Milwaukee impressed me this year, but there were occasions when they seemed to lose focus for a game or two at a time, and those setbacks could be what keeps them out of the tournament.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The Marquette Golden Eagles are the top overall seed, and they will play in the Washington, D.C. Regional. The selection committee differed with the media on who the number 1 team in the country is, but the committee is the important one at this point, and we'll soon see if their faith in this team is warranted. On to the second number 1 seed, who will play in the Atlanta Regional. The Michigan State Spartans are seeking their 3rd NCAA championship in school history. The Miami Hurricanes are our 3rd number 1 seed, and they'll play in the Minneapolis Regional. They're back in the tournament again, and no doubt they'll be feeding off the experience of last year's appearance as they try to get to the Final Four this year. And finally, our 4th number 1 seed will play in the Atlanta Regional. The Ohio State Buckeyes are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the 5th time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the Washington, D.C. Regional will play the winner of the Atlanta Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Minneapolis Regional will play the winner of the Atlanta Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 6th. Then it'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night. Anything shocking to you about those picks?
Well, when you see the selection committee deviate from the top 4 teams in the media poll, it's a little surprising. They've opened themselves up to some criticism with these picks.
So, with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the brackets. First up, we take a look at the Washington, D.C. Regional. The Marquette Golden Eagles are the top seed, finishing at 27-6. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Big East. They will take on the winner of the opening round play-in game between Central Arkansas, with 13 wins, and Arkansas Pine Bluff from the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And now, the number 8 seed, the St. Louis Billikens, come into the tournament as the 4th place team in their conference during the regular season, and we're losing Rhode Island. And Cal comes in as the next up is the number 2 seed. The UNLV Runnin' Rebels are our number 7 seed is from the Big 12. The Dayton, the USC Trojans are in as the number 6 seed. I think this could wind up being the bracket that brings us this year's Cinderella story. Next up will the Michigan State Spartans are the top seed, finishing at 26. Georgia comes in as the number 8 seed, finishing at 19-10. San Diego Seton Hall enters the field as the number 5 seed from the Big East. This marks their 19th appearance all time in the our number 2 seed. Next up is the number 7 seed. The South Florida Bulls have established themselves. The Arkansas Razorbacks are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 and now the number 6 seed. The Red Storm of St. John's come into the tournament on looking into the future a little bit. This bracket looks poised for a titanic matchup in the regional final. If the top 2 seeds can take care of business in the first 3 rounds, we have the possibility of a classic Elite 8 meeting. On to our third bracket of the day. Let's take a look at the Minneapolis Regional. The Miami Hurricanes. Our number 8 seed is from Conference USA. The Marshall Thundering Herd were rewarded for their outstanding Mississippi State. The DePaul Boston College comes in as the number 2. Next up is the number 7. And now the number 3 seed. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights come into the tournament after finishing. Cincinnati comes in as the number 6 seed, finishing at 22 and 11. And they take on the 11th seed from the Horizon League, the Detroit Titan, with 19 wins. There are going to be some incredible matchups in the later rounds of this bracket. If the top seeds can avoid the early upsets, we can look forward to some. Welcome, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel here with my partner, Clark Kellogg. Just ahead on the special NCAA Tournament edition of College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. We'll recap the greatest games from the first week of March Madness, as well as give you a preview of some of the huge matchups coming up in the Sweet 16. But we begin with the player who dominated the first week of the tournament.
Ford had a fantastic week. He dominated the action from his power forward spot, and that's no easy task in college basketball these days.
Absolutely, Clark. He didn't waste any time getting hot. A lot of players want to save their best for the end of the tournament. Well, he was on fire right from the opening tip, and it carried over into the second round. One look at these highlights, and you'll see why he's the player of the week and why his team is on the way to the Sweet 16. As usual, the first weekend of March Madness had what are sure to be some of the most dramatic contests of the entire tournament. Our first game was an outstanding matchup from the first round. Boise State overpowered Ohio State.
Well, Greg, this game wasn't decided until that final buzzer sounded. A couple of different bounces one way or the other, and this could have been a totally different outcome. Byfield was the hero of this one with a terrific performance. His 12 points led the team. Watching him basically put his teammates on his back and single-handedly carry them to the victory in a big game situation like this was stupendous. And for him to have a game like that on college basketball's grandest stage, the NCAA tournament, is simply phenomenal, Greg. What a performance.
This next game was another superb March Madness battle. Mississippi State was victorious over Florida Atlantic.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs were intensely focused coming into this game, and their preparation was outstanding. They looked like they were ready for anything, Greg, kind of like you are when we come into the studio. Mississippi State did a tremendous job in the rebounding department. It was truly a dominant performance on the glass. They showed great hustle and determination every time a shot went up on either end. That's always an area that can really be an indicator of a team's performance, and the rebounding numbers told the tale in this one.
Now let's turn our attention to a few of the huge battles upcoming this week in the Sweet 16. We're really getting into the meat of March Madness now. This will be a fantastic battle. This is shaping up to be a prototypical style versus style matchup. Great scorers on one side of the court, great defenders on the other. This is going to be a real showdown.
Ole Miss gets my vote, partner. They just seem to be playing at an extremely high level right now. Their ability to adapt to any style is what impresses me the most. If one thing isn't working for them, they can lean on something else without missing a beat.
And how about another huge matchup from the third round? This will be a fantastic battle. This is shaping up to be a prototypical style versus style matchup. Great scorers on one side of the court, great defenders on the other. This is going to be a real showdown.
Boston College would be my pick here. They are so